Okay, so before we check the worksheet, the exercises, we're going to make, well, the disclaimer notice. Okay, so give me just a second. And it goes like this. Aviso de privacidad. A partir de este momento iniciamos la grabación de la sesión de clases en Zoom. El uso de este video será única y exclusivamente para fines académicos. Ninguna persona puede usar las imágenes, audio o información que aquí se comparten con fines ajenos a la clase. Los derechos son propiedad del Instituto Oriente AC. Este espacio se rige bajo las normas del Manual de Convivencia del colegio. All right. Having said that, let's check the worksheet that we had not last week, but the week before, okay? The one that we haven't checked, I believe it is. Okay, we have it right here, okay, for you guys. And here in the first exercise, well, the first set of exercises, we have to decide whether we're going to use but, and, or, the word or. Now, when we say but, we are talking about, my mistake, we are talking about a contrast, okay? We're talking about some kind of contrast, which in Español would be, in Spanish, sorry, that would be pero, all right? For and, we're giving extra information, okay? For extra information, like in Spanish, we say y. And finally, with or, we're talking about options, okay? And with these options, we're going to say in Spanish, well, it's the same o, all right, that we have for those circumstances. Okay, so we have to decide whether to use one of these three words, okay, but, and, or. Those are the three. All right. So what we're gonna do, okay, first, we are going to decide. For the first sentence, it reads, I usually eat a healthy lunch. Blank, I never eat breakfast. Okay, so you have usually, all right, we have usually right there, and then we have never. That's like saying positive, negative, that's a contrast. So for this answer, we're going to say, but. I usually eat, but I never eat breakfast. Okay, so that's the answer for that. In number two, we have, I get lots of exercise every day. Blank, I drink lots of water. Okay, so this is giving extra info, I believe, because we're talking about doing healthy things, okay? Practicing healthy habits. So we're going to say, and we're giving extra information. I get lots of exercise and I drink lots of water. So you do something good, all right? We're talking about two things in the same category. In number three, sorry, I ride my bike to school, blank, go by bus when it's raining. Now, as I said on Friday, okay, when we say something that is different, okay, we are talking about a contrast. Okay, number three is, it reads, I ride my bike to school. This is maybe typically when it's sunny. Okay, and then you have the opposite, you have a contrast. When it's raining, that's different, that's when you say, but. Okay, you have a different circumstance. It's a different circumstance. It's like positive, it's sunny. Negative, it's raining. Okay, so we have an opposite, we have to use but. Number four, I get enough sleep, blank. Sometimes I don't. Okay, the thing that we have to notice here is the word don't. Okay, that's negative. That's saying something different from the first sentence. So that's another contrast. We're going to say but. Again, I get enough sleep, but sometimes I don't, and I feel very tired. Number five, he watches TV all day, blank, eats unhealthy food, okay? So we have two things that are similar. We have something bad, he watches TV all day, and another bad thing, he eats unhealthy food. So we have bad, bad, okay? It's not a contrast. It's not in two options. We're not talking about two options, okay? We're talking about extra information. So he watches TV all day and eats unhealthy food. Okay, here we're giving extra information about two things that are in the same category. Number 6. Okay, as I said on Friday, we need to make a bit of a correction here. Technically, this should read I right there. Okay, for a healthy dinner, I have a sandwich, and then this is a spot where we were supposed to have a blank right here. For a healthy dinner, I have a sandwich, blank, make a fruit salad. Okay, maybe the person doesn't eat two things. Maybe he eats only one. Okay, if he eats only one, you're talking about option 1, option 2. When we talk about options, we're going to use or. So that's the answer for that. For a healthy dinner, I have a sandwich or make a fruit salad. Okay, remember that. When you talk about two options, option 1, option 2, it's necessary to put or. Okay, so much for that. Let's continue and move on to the next set of exercises. Here, we have to connect the two sentences using one of these three connectors, the same connectors that we've been working with so far. Okay, now the connector is going to come after the first sentence, which reads, I got some exercise this week, but I didn't blah, blah, blah last week. Okay, you're talking about something, we're saying yes this week, no last week. Okay, it's a contrast. It's a contrast. Then we have here for number 8, I try to eat a healthy lunch every day. I drink lots of water. So we're going to say, I try to eat a healthy lunch every day, comma, okay? Remember to use the comma when you want to start a new sentence with one of these connectors. I try to eat a healthy lunch every day, and I drink blah, 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 lots of water, okay? That's the answer, that's the connector that we need because we're only giving extra information about a healthy lifestyle, about healthy habits. Number 9, you can have some ice cream, you can drink a milkshake. It's like this person is saying, option 1, ice cream. Option 2, milkshake. All right, so we're talking about options. We're going to write, you can have some ice cream, or you can blah, blah, blah. Okay, you're giving options. All right, so that's the answer for that item. You can have some ice cream, or you can drink a milkshake. For number 10, we got my sister walks to work. She drives her car when it's late. Okay, you have to pay attention to the complement. The complement is very important because it gives us context. When you know the context, you're going to understand better what we are working with. In this case, we're talking about time. So when she's on time, she walks to work. My sister walks to work. It's like saying when she's on time. Something like that. Okay, when she's on time, my sister walks to work. But when she's late, she drives her car. So we have opposites. Okay? It's like saying this is something good when she's on time. And this is something bad when she's late. That's why they are opposites. So the connector for opposites is my sister walks to work. Here it comes. But she, blah, 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 drives her car when she's late. Okay, these are the connectors. Notice that every single time that we used these connectors, we used a comma. Okay, we have a comma before but, a comma before and, a comma before or, a comma before but. Okay, it's very important to use that comma when you use a connector and, but, or to separate two independent sentences, okay? That's what these connectors were all about, connecting two separate sentences, two different sentences. All right, now we're going to do some extra exercises, all right, to make this a little bit clearer. Let's see now. We got those. Okay, they should be. Right here. All right, so we continue practicing with these three. Okay, we continue practicing with but and or. These three basic connectors. Now, somebody asked me on Friday if there were more connectors. Now, these connectors are technically basic connectors, and we have a list of basic connectors, so to speak. Later, you're going to find out that they have a different name, but these basic connectors are easily remembered when we use an acronym, and the acronym is fanboys. Okay, and with this acronym, we're going to remember fanboys. With fanboys, we're going to remember the connectors. Okay, we have for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. We have the fanboys, and the fanboys are used always to connect two separate sentences. For now, for this class, and for this course, we are practicing only with and, but, or. Only with those three connectors, and then later you're going to learn about other, more complex connectors. Okay, but these are the basic connectors. So let's start. With the first sentence, my father drives a car, he walks when it's sunny. Okay, now we have something of an opposite. We have to pay attention to what we have right here. When it's sunny, it's a different circumstance. Okay, so it's an opposite, it's a contrast. That's why we're going to make the connection with but. My father drives a car, but he, and the rest of the sentence just as it is. My father drives a car, but he walks when it's sunny. Next sentence. Okay, Joe plays hockey, he plays football. In this sentence, okay, we are giving extra information. That's why we're going to use the connector and. He plays two things. Okay, it's not option one, option two. No, it's saying he plays this and he plays the other thing. It would even be more specific or a little bit clearer if here I had put two. That would make it easier to understand. He plays hockey, he plays football too. Okay, so you're saying that it's not option one, option two. It's exercise, one form of exercise, a sport, hockey, and then the other sport, football, in the same person, okay, maybe during the same week or during the same month, in the same life, in the person's same life. So it's extra information. That's why we say and. For the next sentence, we have, you can eat cereal, you can eat eggs for breakfast. Okay? So we have option one, option two. In this case, we're going to make the connection with or. When you have two options, it's necessary to make that connection with or. Finally, Bob didn't find a book, he found a notebook. You say negative, positive, positive, negative. Something didn't happen, but the other happened. Okay, we're talking about opposites. That's why we're gonna say but. Okay? Pretty simple connectors. Let's see, the other part that we have to practice, okay, as part of that previous unit, okay, is making questions, negatives and positives. Okay, so we are going to okay, we're going to make these connections. All right, so let's start with the first one. Remember that when we make a question, okay, let me show you right here. With the first one, making questions, okay, we have to start always the question with did, then follow with the subject. The subject is the person, I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they, my father, your brother, Richard and Betty, Bob, Jane, Robert, etc. And then the verb plus the complement. Okay, the verb is the action. Okay, the verb is the action. So let's get into it. To make questions, for the first one, we start with did, as we said. Okay, it's the basic structure. We're going to use did. And then the person, we have Robert, or you can say he, if you want to, did he or did Robert, and then the verb, have a healthy breakfast. Okay, now notice that I didn't make any changes. I did not make any changes to the verb. The verb is not gonna change because we have did. Okay, did is representing the past. That's why the verb is in simple form. Okay, next we have did, and then the person, Jane, or you can say she, did Jane, did she, whatever, get enough sleep. Again, we have the verb in simple form. We don't put it in past. No, 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 don't put the verb in past. The verb is left in simple form. Then we have Richard and Betty. We make the question, did they, you know, we're talking about Richard and Betty, brush their teeth? The verb in simple form. Okay, finally we have, did Bob or he drink enough water? Okay, once more, we have that verb in simple form, not in past. Okay, very, very important. When we use did, what we have right here, when we use did, the verb is not gonna change. Don't change the verb to past when you have did. Okay? Let's make negatives. Now we're going to make some negative sentences. Okay, we're going to use negatives. And we're going to use did. Let's start. Robert, or we can say he, didn't have a healthy breakfast. Jane, or maybe she, didn't get enough sleep. Okay, or we can say Jane, let's write it in. Okay, Jane didn't get enough sleep. Talk about Richard and Betty. Richard and Betty didn't brush their teeth. Or we can say they didn't brush their teeth. Finally, we can say Bob didn't drink enough water. Or maybe he didn't drink enough water. Okay, the important, very, very important thing to remember here is that we have didn't for the negative with a verb in simple form. Didn't have, didn't get, didn't brush, okay, didn't brush, didn't drink, didn't drink, okay? These are going to be the correct forms of negative. We put didn't, okay, and then the verb in simple form, not in past. For example, if somebody here wanted to say something like, Robert didn't have, or maybe down here, Jane didn't got. Once more down here, they didn't brush. And then finally, he didn't drank. Okay, these would be incorrect. These would be incorrect because you put the verb in past. That's why they are incorrect, okay? So this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and this is wrong. Okay, what you have to do when you put didn't is put the verb in simple form. That's why this is correct, 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 and this is correct. We put the verb in simple form. Finally, when we use positive in past, okay, when we use positive in past, we are not going to use did. Okay, did is only for questions, negatives, and short answers. Short answers, for example, when we say, yes, I did, or no, I didn't. Okay, only for short answers. These will be correct. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Okay, we're not going to use did with a complete sentence in positive when we're talking about past. For example, if we say, let's see, down here, if we say, Robert did have a blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is going to be wrong. All right, this is going to be wrong because we cannot use did when we have a verb in past. Okay, now if another person said, okay, well, maybe I want to say Robert did had, and I put the verb in past, then had a Okay? Again, we're going to use did only in questions, negatives, and short answers. Okay? Here, the correct thing to do is say, Robert had a healthy breakfast. Okay? This is going to be correct. All right? We're going to use the verb in past. No, did. Okay? Don't use did. All right? So that's why this is correct, 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 correct. Okay? Put the verb in past. Jane got enough sleep would be the next answer. Richard and Betty, or they brushed their teeth. And finally, Bob drank enough water. Okay? We use the verb in past. We don't put did. So much for that. Okay? Watch the next video. Okay, this video is not the class for this upcoming week. Okay, this is the video for Friday because, well, your teacher forgot to click on record when we were having our session. All right? So this is making up for that. Watch the next video, which is for the class, okay? And we'll see you on Friday. Okay? Bye-bye now.